It's been a 2021 Football Victoria season that few are ever going to forget. But today at a CB Smith Reserve out here in Fawkner that can't seem to make up its mind with the weather, the 2021 season will officially, finally come to its end today. 281 days after it officially began, with Mia Parkin hat-trick propelling North Geelong Warriors to a 13-0 win over Hampton East Brighton at Elco Park on March 13, the Nike FC Cup is going to crown a champion this afternoon. South Melbourne looking to add yet another piece of silverware to what is a historically packed trophy cabinet down there at Lakeside, and Calder United seeking to make yet more history in their young history, going for a four-peat in Victoria's State Knockout Cup. My name is Joey Lynch, and I'd like to thank you for joining us this afternoon on the Football Victoria Facebook page or the Football Victoria YouTube page, or perhaps you're joining us across Optus Sports platforms as the home of the English Premier League, the Barclays Women's Super League and the 2023 Women's World Cup makes a foray into the domestic Australian scene for the first time. If you are one of those individuals joining us on Optus, it's great to have you along for what promises to be an exhilarating final that is helped made possible by the support of Nike, who continue to back women's football across Victoria with their ongoing support of this competition, the Nike FC Cup. It's my pleasure to be joined on the broadcast today by two outstanding professionals in the women's game and just football in general, to be honest. Women journalist Marissa Lordanic and deep breath, Matilda's legend, Football Victoria Hall of Famer, and the current starting goalkeeper for Melbourne City's A-League women's side, Melissa Barbieri. And Bubs, I'll start with you because I've been talking enough. The weather might not be turning it on today, but it should be a cracker of a contest today, shouldn't it?
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to it, Joey, and I think all the girls out there have had such a tumultuous year with COVID, and they're just excited to be out there playing the game that they love, and just seeing the excitement on their faces. Both Calder and South Melbourne have had a great season outside of this Nike FC Cup, so to see some sort of grand final play out this year is just a blessing in my eyes, and extremely grateful for the girls to be able to be out there and play the game that they love.
And Marissa, we've got a nice little vantage point of the ground there from our position. It's been blowing a gale. Do you think that will affect conditions?
I can't see how it doesn't affect the play, honestly, Joey, because it's been absolutely bananas this afternoon. As you mentioned, we've had sun, we've had the rain, we've had the wind. It's been an absolute everything kind of thing. So I'm very interested to see how the conditions do affect the play and how the teams can adapt to it, because I think particularly with the wind, it's not something that they can adapt to. So I'm keen to see what kind of curveballs it throws up for us.
Indeed. Well, battling the elements today, or maybe if the sun comes out, maybe enjoying the elements, will be South Melbourne and Calder United. And we'll begin with South Melbourne, who are the nominal hosts for this game. It's been a season, it's been an interesting season for South Melbourne. At one point, you would have just said that they were unbackable to at least win the premiership, running away with the league, only one defeat. But then, unfortunately, as we all learnt, COVID hit, lockdowns hit, and the season was unfortunately abandoned. But Bubs, you were a big part of South Melbourne's form during that season as their starting goalkeeper. Can't play today because of your A-League women's commitments. But what can we expect from this South side today?
A lot of tenacity, a lot of resilience, and a lot of speed up front. And I think it's been exciting to watch the girls in the past few games, how they've adapted to having new players around them. And a lot of our players have gone on to play A-League women, so the ones that have been left behind are capable of actually playing in the A-League, but they have chosen to play and keep their legs firmly on the ground in the NPL. And I think when it comes down to it, South Melbourne is a massive club, and these young girls stepping up and playing in the senior team have earned their stripes well and truly. So I think the most exciting thing for me today is to see how these girls step up into these senior roles, and I'm just excited to watch how they adapt to each other and the weather today.
Well, Marissa, as Bubs mentions, quite a number of players from South have gone into the A-League Women's. Who do you reckon's the biggest loss for them heading into this one?
I think it's hard to go past Melina Ayres just for pure goal-scoring ability and numbers. You know, she's 17 goals in the few games that she did play during the season, so South need to somehow replace that. And then I suppose in addition to that, Lucy Johnson was also very lively up forward and scored a lot of goals. So that is something that South is going to have to cover. As Bubs mentioned, though, they do have a lot of players up forward and a lot of pacey players. So if they can then turn that pace into actual goals, I can't see why they can't bag a few and cause some real problems for Calder.
Of course, South Melbourne, they do have a number of standout players still available to them today as they pursue a trophy that currently they have never lifted in Victorian football history, the Women's State Knockout Cup. They've played in 2 finals, haven't won one yet, but one player that really is one to watch today is the player wearing the armbands for South today, Akeisha Sandhu. Bubs, what can we expect from Akeisha?
Akeisha is one of those players with huge amount of resilience. She's, after the loss of her father, she's really focused in on her football and her study. And she's one of those players that you really look to in a team environment, because after what she's had to go through personally, she still puts team above all else, and that's what you want as a teammate. She's donning the armband in lieu of Martin, who's gone overseas to Canada. So she's got big shoes to fill, but no doubt she's up there encouraging the young players to step up and follow her along. I love seeing her in the midfield. That's not a usual position. But she's going to be a maestro in there, and she's going to, really, really do as much running as she can to bring everyone together.
It's remarkable to think that she's coming up to the end of what is nominally her second year with South, but she still hasn't actually had a chance to play a full season yet, joining from Alamein at the beginning of 2020. But we'll move on now, because there is the defending champions, the 3-time defending champions coming into this game, Calder United. Marissa, I'll turn to you for this one. They were 3rd on the table coming into this one, but they were free scoring, as Calder always were, but they also miserly defence, the most miserly defence in the league in 2021.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have, for this 2021 season, the best defence versus the best attack, so I'm keen to see how that does play out. But as you said, Calder were just not letting goals through in this 2021 season, so I reckon they will definitely be trying to replicate that in this cup final. The likes of Alicia Icky and Natasha Dakic in the centre of defence were really strong throughout the season, so the fact that Calder have been able to keep them here and they'll be playing in this final is really important for their kind of defensive structure.
And if we were to look at departures to the A-League Women's, we'd have to say that South hit a little bit harder than Calder United, but Bubs, 2 major losses up front for Calder in the form of Harriet Withers and Catherine Zimmerman, and I can imagine you as a goalkeeper, you would have never complained if they weren't lining up against you.
No, that's right, and you've seen how Harriet Withers has got on the score sheet for victory in this last match, so she's a huge loss for Calder, but also because she partnered so well with Alexandra Sinclair and Zimmerman, and they all, really fed off each other, and no matter where they found themselves on the pitch, they just moulded and adapted really well. And I think having Taranto twins in the centre of the park will demonstrate how good Calder are as a whole. And then just plugging all those little holes that they might have with younger players that have been around the scene for a very long time. So just because they're young doesn't mean they don't have great experience already in such a formidable Calder club.
It is one of the strengths of these two sides, isn't it? They both develop young talent. They recruit very well. We can't pretend that they don't, but they also develop their young talent, don't they?
Yes, and they put high stakes on doing well in the younger age groups and having great coaches. That's the pinnacle. I mean, you can have great players that come from other clubs that have been built by other clubs, but these clubs are actually building those players because they have great coaches in and around the girls, and that bodes confidence in them once they step into that senior role.
Well, Marissa, talking about Calder's high-powered attack, there is a key figure that remains. Bub's mentioned Alex Sinclair. I think I like to call her your NPLW player's favourite NPLW player. The amount of times she's won the Players' Player of the Year, but she's really one to keep an eye on today, isn't she?
She really is. She, again, the captain of this side, she's just absolutely formidable. Everyone loves her. 52 goals in the NPLW. She just scores for fun. I think the other great thing is she provides. She's everywhere. She really is an all-rounder in that kind of forward line. And I think really importantly, as you said, she's the kind of player that your teammates would run through a brick wall for her. She's a culture builder. She's, you know, a big part of the reason why Calder is what it is. So she is such an important player, obviously, on the pitch, and there'll be an expectation that she does score in this game. She scored in the last final Nike FC Cup final that we played. So there will be an expectation of goals, but she's just as important off the field and making sure that the younger teammates are kind of up and ready for this final.
Now, of course, these two sides did meet during the 2021 NPLW Victoria season, but they only did so once back in round 2. COVID lockdowns and fixture rejigging meant that they never actually got the chance for the rematch. But, Bubs, I don't think you would be complaining because you were on the right side of that scoreline, a 3-2 win up there at Keilor Park Recreation Reserve. And just talk us through the game. You took an early lead. What are your memories of that day?
Oh, I think I just remember being under the pump the entire game, and the scoreline certainly didn't reflect the amount of work that I had to do, certainly. But I think it's one of those games that you never know what's going to happen because Calder have so many players that can come to the fore when needed. So you focus on Harriet Withers, then Alex Sinclair pops up. You focus on Sinclair and the Taranto twins pop up, and then you've got players from the back line driving forward and speed up front. You don't know what's coming at you. But in terms of South Melbourne and how we performed, I think it was just a matter of heart and knowing what we lost through COVID. And then coming up trumps when it was time to. I mean, we still didn't have Melina Ayres up there, so a lot of the other girls stood up. Kat Goff certainly started off the NPLW season quite well, and Jenna Lawson getting in behind the defence was really important for us. And then Lucy Johnson coming up with some great volleys and some great finishes. Certainly, you know, Delost did great in goals, but couldn't hold back from Lucy or Jenna Lawson in those instances.
As we see the final highlights there, it was part of a blistering start to the season from South Melbourne. I think you've beaten Bulleen 7-1 in round 1 before that, which was also the only meeting you had with Bulleen. But just looking ahead now, myself and Marissa, we had a chance to catch up with the coaches before this one, and I believe the first one we got on tap for you is my chat with South Melbourne Hellas coach Sam Young. Well, Sam, we're finally here. It's Nike FC Cup final day. It's a chance for at least one trophy from the 2021 season. How are you feeling and how are the girls feeling?
Oh, look, I think excited first and foremost. You know, it's our second competitive game for God knows how long. So the girls will be up for it. We know that it's a grand final. We're here to obviously win it, and yeah, we're looking forward to the game.
Now, obviously, some losses for your squad from the NPLW season. My co-caller, Melissa Barbieri, amongst them. But who are some of the familiar faces we'll be seeing today, and maybe some of the younger faces that football observers will be getting a look at for the first time?
Yeah, look, obviously, all the teams have lost some players, but we've almost had to forget about that. You know, we don't want to make excuses. Yeah, we have players missing, but we've got to focus on the players that we do have, and they've done an amazing job of coming back in after lockdown. So they've been unbelievable, and I couldn't have been prouder for their efforts in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But yeah, look, we've got some match winners in there. To be honest, Joey, we've got you know I don't really want to talk about individuals because we'll need a team performance to beat Calder, who are a fantastic team. You know, they've dominated NPL Victoria for a long time, and you know, I think the tide's turning a little bit, and we've done that in a short space of time. So again, full credit to the players that we have available, and yeah, we're just looking forward to the game. And you know, the key message to the players was, you know, don't get overawed by the occasion. Yes, it's a final. Yes, we're on Optus, but you know, we've got to remember our tasks, and if we do that and execute well, I think we can win the game.
Just very quickly, it's looking like we might get a wet and wild one today. Will that affect how your girls approach the game?
No, I don't think so. You know, we've got a game plan, and I think, as I said, if we execute that, it could be wind, rain, snow. Melbourne's got, you know, we know what Melbourne weather's like, so you know, we've just got to deal with what we can, and I'm confident that if we do that, we can lift the cup at the end of the game.
Well, hopefully no snow, but thank you very much for giving us your thoughts pre-game, mate. Well, that was my chat with South Melbourne coach Sam Young, and then Marissa had the opportunity to catch up with Calder United boss Mark Torcaso.
I'm joined by Calder United head coach Mark Torcaso. Mark, it's been a real weird year for everyone involved, but how have you and the girls been handling the preparation ahead of this final?
It has been weird, to be honest. Trying to sort of get the girls focused for a game in such a short amount of time has been really weird, but I guess we can't complain because we're playing a competitive game of football, so it's good for people to come out and watch, and obviously for the girls to get on the pitch and play, so I guess we're not complaining.
Yeah, exactly right. There's obviously new faces for both sides, but how have you kind of prepared your younger girls specifically for this game?
That's a tough one because it's basically been 4 weeks of trying to just get some young girls involved in a training session and get them used to what it could be like at senior level, but I guess it's the same on both levels, South and Calder, so it's going to be exciting because, you know, some might get 10 minutes, 20 minutes, some might even start, so it's just going to be a great opportunity for them and hopefully they do well.
Yeah, and finally, on the other side of the spectrum, you've got Alex Sinclair, your kind of inspirational leader, a very experienced head. What are you expecting from her in this game?
To score. No, Alex will just run and work hard and be a true leader that she is, and we're just expecting her to go out there and enjoy it and probably run around like an 18-year-old, so that's all we're expecting from her.
Beautiful. Good luck for the game.
Thank you.
Kickoff is imminent here at CB Smith Reserve, so we'll quickly take you through the lineups, starting with the hosts, South Melbourne FC. Bubs, a few names to look out for?
Yeah, certainly. We've got Budiongo, Alex Cheel, Kat Goff, Jana Lawson, Chiara Hieronopoulos, Anna Liakopoulos, Sasha Liparidis, Sophie Papatsanis, Caitlin Pickett, Captain Akisha Sandhu, and Bella Stringfellow.
And then Marissa, Calder United, the side that will be looking to knock South Melbourne off their perch.
Absolutely. They'll be led by Captain Alex Sinclair, Adriana Taranto, Melissa Taranto, Natasha Dakic, Julia Sardo, Alana Cern, Ava Grober, Alyssa Daloste, Corey Kane, Alicia Icky, and Montana Matthews.
Well, two relatively strong lineups, missing a few names, but some certain difference makers there. Kickoff is imminent. Thank you for joining us on the pre-game show. We'll be back to take you through all the action at half-time, but be sure to stay tuned as me and Bubs take you through the opening 45 minutes. as we see the two sides making their way out onto the surface here at CB Smith Reserve. South Melbourne, Hellas in their famous blue kits, and Calder United wearing their green away kits for this one. And we'll briefly pause now as both sides, all the niceties of a cup competition, will mark the Australian national anthem. As the national anthem continues to play out here at CB Smith Reserve, but players obviously eager to get involved there in the action, both sides getting the team photos done, the team talk. And Mr. Barbieri, Bubs, as we now get set into our commentary positions here, overlooking the grounds, just what's the message to the players now in these final pre-game huddles? Is it motivation, last-minute tactics? What are they hearing?
I think it's about enjoying the moment. You know, we get some rare moments in our life where we play grand finals and we look back on these memories fondly, even if we have heartbreak at the end of the day. So I think a lot of the girls would be saying, we've hung up the boots for so long this year, let's just make the most of being out here. And with so many young players on the pitch, you don't want to put too much pressure on each other to perform. You know, things are going to happen, mistakes are going to happen, and it's how you come back from those sorts of moments. And I think who's going to win today are the ones that make the least mistakes. And I think you just want people who are confident after making a mistake that doesn't cost anything to put their heads up and step forward into the next moment as well as they can.
Well, I mean, on the subject of nerves, South Melbourne have only made one change to the side that handily defeated Bulleen in the semi-finals last week, but it is somewhat of an important one. It's in goals. Sasha Liparidis coming into the side, the under-19s keeper. Yep. What will she be feeling right now? Is this her first senior game?
It's not her first senior game, but I think it's certainly one of note that she has, you know, the first senior noteworthy game that she's played. And I think when you're nervous as an under-19s keeper, you know, but she's got like this confident personality that I absolutely love. So I think even though it is her major first game for the senior team, she'll take that in her stride. And certainly not of the experiences lost in the Calder goals, but certainly one to watch for the future.
As we see, this might not be helping the nerves. She got all set up in that goal on the right side of the broadcast and then got informed, actually, grab your stuff, you're moving over.
That's the worst
to the left. Yeah, just the longest run as well, isn't it? Everybody else gets a let off. But
yeah, I think if you set up on your 18-yard box and then get told you're at the wrong end, it's you know, that's sprint. Lucky you just warmed up, or else you might pull a hammy.
As we see then, because of that change of ends, it will be Calder United kicking us off, going from right to left on your screen, and South Melbourne once again in that oh so famous blue kit going from left to right. But it is Taranto standing over the ball for Calder United. Adriana Taranto. Mel is there on the sideline as Mel Taranto gets us started, kicking off. And it's the long diag, the Australian tradition in the direction of Grover, but it will immediately result in a turnover. South Melbourne trying to get down the left. Lawson giving chase. And in the end, maybe a bit of nerves. The attempted clearance goes right out of bounds.
Yeah, it's certainly South Melbourne looking to press as much as possible here. They really pounded there, Alyssa.
Papatsanis coming in, applying the challenge. Sandu getting an early touch, but then she'll Just be marshalled out, but South retain possession deep on their attacking right flank. Sophie Papatsanis looking for Budiongo up top. Montana Matthews, one of the fresher additions to this call lineup. She's under some intense pressure, but Calder, well, they were about to break, but in the end they didn't need to through Natasha Dakic as the youngster Matthews won her side a free kick. As we hear some of the Calder fans springing to life. Good turnout, Bubs, given the conditions. I mean, not exactly optimal weather for sitting in the stands watching football, but hopefully they can make some noise as the game goes on.
They certainly have come out in their droves. It's been such a long time where we can have crowds in the stadium, so it's great to see so many people pull on their jackets in the middle of December, right before Christmas. You're not used to it with usual heat, but glad to see them out in droves.
As Grober can't bring that one down, but Adriana Taranto did her best. Sinclair get involved. Bit of a tussle, bit of a collision, but all in good fun as Sinclair gives a bit of a backslap to Hironopoulos and South gets us going once again.
I will say that's why Sinclair's so loved across the whole league, is that she's so lovely to everybody. She's an absolute competitor, but when it comes down to it, she'll give you a hand up and she'll say well done and good job when it's needed as well. And she's such a beautiful person on and off the pitch.
It's now Mel Taranto trying to turn and face the right direction, but in the end, Calder forced to just play back. Dakic now. Tasha Dakic joins Calder from Box Hill, was recently re-upped with Torcazo's side for the 2022 season. Matthews trying to take it down the left flank, does enough to keep it in. Nice turn there from the left back. Grober whips a ball in, just goes over the head of Sinclair. And a tussle for it, and will be Pickett coming away with it. Pickett is looking for Budiongo going forward, was deflected away. And then Taranto whips in and takes it off the feet of Kat Goff. Goff once again on the ball, driving forward. That's how she operates best, Kat Goff, when she's able to use that speed in a straight line. But on that occasion, was initially a turnover, and then Calder will come away with it. Ava Grober. To Matthews, getting a lot of touches early is Montana Matthews. Dakic to Eki. Cern plays it up onto the right flank. Sardo is well marshalled by Goff. Contest between the two. Ends up with Goff winning a throw-in. Should be interesting for Goff today, shouldn't it, Bubs? I mean, if the wind picks up the ball and throws it forward, she's got the speed to get to it. But then again, those through balls just that she thrives on just might not be there in the conditions. Exactly.
The wind is holding them up, and she's certainly capable of taking a touch and driving it in behind the defence themselves. But I think Calder know if they can just stifle that long ball into her foray forward, that they might just stop her ability to get in behind their defence.
Kat Goff made one appearance for Melbourne City, round one a couple of seasons ago, before the cavalcade of Matildas that were the signs of the club arrived.
Yeah, she certainly did, take up that W League position with such gratitude, and she was such a hard worker in every training session that, you had to give her a start somewhere.
Dakic just whipping the ball forward, just to nobody in particular, but did ask a few questions. It's Hironopoulos, turns it over, Mel Taranto. Hironopoulos battling back, forcing Taranto backwards to Sardo, and then her attempted ball forward, blocked by Goff. Good defensive pressure from South early on. As soon as they lose the ball, they're working to get it back. Ball over the top, the foot race is on. Sinclair is there, keeper is forced to come out and test there for the Hellas defence. Sinclair is never going to give up on a ball, is she, Bubs?
No, certainly, and you can see the weather just holding the ball up immensely in that through passage there.
Kat Goff trying to come downhill. She's dispossessed, but Sandel cleans up and then will try from range, and Dalos just watches it go out there for really the first time she has had a question, even if it wasn't a very hard one, asked of her. Taranto, once again trying to play the ball into space. Bit of a coming together between Papatsianis and Sinclair, but no going, says our referee. And
great start by Liparidis in goals here. She's really using her vocal cords to really marshal the defence well.
And that's something very difficult for young goalkeepers, isn't it? They maybe don't have that confidence to boss around the older players in front of them.
That's one of the things I try and teach young goalkeepers, that your voice is one of your tools, just like your feet or your hands.
You see Lawson playing the ball forward for Pickett. Pickett can face goal. Then she's sandwiched between two Calder players and wins a free kick. And this is a dangerous position for Calder to be giving up set pieces.
Yeah, I think they'll look for a shot on target here, with Alyssa Delos looking a little bit shaky in the back line with her feet. If that translates to her hands in here, then she might drop something at the feet of a South Melbourne attacker. They'll have to put a few players in the wall, so even if they get one on target, you might see that South Melbourne override them with numbers in this situation.
Will be Akeisha Santos standing over the ball. Forced backwards. Four-player wall for Calder. Sandu can hit them. Scored a number of goals from range this NPLW season. The hand goes up, and the ball also goes up and over the bar.
Yeah, you have to at least ask questions of the goalkeeper in that sort of situation. Keeping things on target is instrumental in keeping that pressure on Calder. And I did see that they are worried, South Melbourne, with the attacking foray of Calder, because they had 4 or 5 players back in that instance with one Calder player back.
Don't want to give up a chance in transition like this might be, as Grover's trying to come through, but Cheel, cool, calm and collected, snuffs out the danger. Pickett looking for Sandu, can't find her however. Chance for Calder to build up. Budiongo applying the pressure.
Budiongo certainly, earned her starting position this week after last week's hat-trick. She, got the girls out of a bind, being at 1-1 against Bulleen at the Venator Club.
It was a contest that maybe belied the experience levels of the two squads. Bulleen, very young side, but has the exuberance of youth. They were like little pit bulls throughout the game. Wouldn't back down, but then...
Heart counts for a lot of things.
But then, as you've mentioned, Budiongo just too good, too big, too fast in the ends, getting that quick-fire hat-trick to put the game to bed.
She's deceptively quick, Jules. She's quite formidable in that front third. If she gets an inch of space, she really takes it on a plum.
They're trying to play the ball into the middle of the park. Gets sent back by Leakopoulos, but called to get another go now. Sinclair playing it in front of Matthews. Gave her a bit of work to do, but Matthews responded. Trying to take it to the byline against Papatsianis, and then Papatsianis will just put it into touch, but not for a throw-in. It will be a corner kick.
Matthew really taking it to the South Melbourne defence and dragging Jana Lawson all the way back into the bottom corner. It's not where South Melbourne want their strikers. So asking the questions early, the Calder defence and overlapping runs is what will do it for them.
So a short corner option is there if it's wanted. Adriana Taranto instead just whips it in towards the near post, and it's spilled. South forced to scramble there. Danger's not cleared. Cern whips it in. The wind is picking it up and throwing it around, and eventually it will go out for a goal kick, but maybe that was some of the early nerves there from Liparidis.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to actually wait for the wind to either carry it or drop it, but in terms of experience, she's just doing amazingly. I think her ability just to attack the ball and be aggressive is such an important factor in being a confident goalkeeper.
Sinclair now battling against a bevy of blue shirts and winning the free kick for her side. So we saw Santu put one over the bar from what was a closer distance.
Now the difference here is that Taranto twins or Cern have the wind behind them. So if they can keep the ball down and driven, it's going to be a tough one to stop, especially with only 2 people in the wall. Probably not enough in my eyes for somebody of the calibre of the Taranto twins.
Whipped in, the wind has picked it up, but it's a strong collection from Sasha Liparidis. That one just bent. We had a perfect angle to see it curve inwards, but the young keeper got it now. Can't go off if she can collect. She has space to run into. Not a lot in support. Eventually Santu will make her way into the middle. Lawson now on the far side of the pitch as well as Goff brings it back inside. Calder do a good job to prevent the fast break, and then they will force a turnover, and there is space for Calder to operate in now. Dakic. Sinclair gives chase. Can she keep it in? Yes, she can. Working against Papatsianis. And in the end, Papatsianis marshals her out of bounds.
Great work by Papatsianis there. Knows that Sinclair is quite fast, so just holds her up into the corner and asks her the question, can you beat me? And of course, Sinclair unable to keep the ball in that instance, but you just know she's capable of so much that you don't want her to get around you. So Sophie not diving in there was exactly what was needed in that instance. Great work from the young defender.
Calder doing their best to try to box South Melbourne in, but no, eventually they will. Fine work by Cern to send the ball back in, but then that attempted pass over the top, it was always going to be a difficult one to chase down, and in the end South collect. And we'll give it straight back.
Liparidis just fighting against the wind there and not really taking the entire 6 seconds, and her teammates aren't really set up. Giving it straight back to the Calder team just increases their confidence going forward.
Sinclair giving Taranto something to chase. Eventually it looks like the referee has awarded a throw-in. So Hironopoulos was getting over there. We weren't sure if it had rolled out for a corner or a throw. Yeah, probably the better outcome for South, restricting their foes to a throw-in. Adriana Taranto to Corey Kane. Matthews. Dakic, Budiongo trying to get in her face and cut off the angle to Eki, so Dakic goes upfield. Fellow emerging there, Lawson trying to find a teammate. Eventually she just puts the ball into as much open space in front of her as she can, and Dolost will collect.
Lawson has won the foul here, so I think South Melbourne will take a free kick at halfway. Papatsianis will be on the ball. Haratsis now.
Skied forward, Calder sends it back, over Grover. Turn and looks upfield, but comes under immediate pressure. Corey Kane Crossfield looking for Matthews, but it will just sail over the left back's head and out for a throw-in.
I tell you who's been important for South Melbourne so far is Anna Leokopoulos in the midfield on the ball now. She's playing in that central defensive midfield role as the 6. She's only 15 years old. Just a tough competitor and smart and composed on the ball. She's making it difficult for Calder, that's for sure.
Calder just leapfrogging their way forward with the throw-ins. Get another one. Into the middle. Sandhu tries to send it away, but Taranto collects. Playing the ball across field. Sato is there. Clashes with Goff. Goes back to Kane. And Kane, well, it initially looked to no one in particular, but then Sinclair comes running through, but a strong collection from South's young custodian keeps her at bay. You just get the sense that Calder need to keep South in their own half. South will want to get something from this one. Stop the tide of momentum. Pickett turns back inside. Round 1, round 2, and then just splays it across the field. Foot race is on. Sarnas does well to keep it in. And her pass. Good interception there from Dakic. And Dakic loves a run forward. It's Mel Taranto. So, for Adriana Taranto, and then Matthews, open space in front of her if she can keep it in. She won't. Wish she won't, referee. And lines person confirms.
I think for South Melbourne, the most important thing here is to understand that they're playing against the wind, and knocking balls forward are just not going to play into their hands, but into the hands of the Calder defence. It's about getting on the ball, playing the feet as much as possible, or else this Calder attack will continue to dominate.
Calder looking to come again as Matthews gets it to Taranto. Playing across the field for Sardo. Sardo just tries to swing a boot at it, but will come off a South Melbourne defender, and it's going to be a corner kick, so sort of worked out in the end there for Sardo.
Yeah, Stringfellow gets a good tackle in on Sardo. She was our first goal scorer from last week, the semi-final against Bulleen. Playing at left back this week.
In the end, my apologies. I thought it had gone out for a corner. Instead it went for a throw, but then the cross is delivered in.
It's hard to tell with this win, Joey.
Sinclair now trying to turn and face goal. South players wanted an offside call. It didn't come. They'll get possession anyway, at least initially. Once again, Calder just intercepting these long balls forward, and they'll force Hellas on the defensive. Nice little faint dummy there. Ball was headed towards Mel Taranto. The pressure's still there. Ava Grober. Sliding challenge coming in from Shield was an important intervention.
Important by Alex Chill, but once again Liparides just not taking the time to allow her teammates to get out and up, and Calder just keep pummeling South Melbourne's defence with players forward. It's very hard for a keeper of any age or experience to get the ball up past the halfway line in conditions like this, and they're just not playing to that sort of strength of South Melbourne.
That ball's played forward, but Lawson's not going to get there, so Calder will come again, and Calder the type of side, they're dangerous enough in attack as it is. You don't need to keep giving them chance after chance after chance to figure things out. Dakic plays it across field to Eki. Under pressure from Budiongo, forces her to go long. Sinclair turns it around the corner. Taranto played it forward. It was sort of in the direction of Grover. Picked out before it could get there. And that one's coming straight back to Mel Taranto. The goals were open if she shot first time. Maybe the ball caught up in her feet. Instead she'll be marshalled out towards the touchline by Chill. careful there by the corner flag between Taranto and Shield. Sardo getting involved as well, but then Shield gets Hellas reinforcements. It's all happening. Ball eventually played in. Sinclair knocks it down. Adriana Taranto, not sure if she was passing or shooting there. It looked like a pass, but it went in the direction of a shot, but it was a simple collection in the end.
Yeah, I think it was one of those, I'm going to shoot, but then I see someone miraculously become open. So the side-footed pass, it didn't eventuate, but I'm sure the Calder attack will put some passes together that will cause Liparidis some real dangerous moments.
Might be on that occasion, as it will go out for a South Melbourne throw-in. However, they will have to deal with Calder getting players forward.
What?
So, Calder trying to box South in. Sandhu knocks it forward. Goff had to stop. And it comes to her, and in the end, Eki deflects it away. Sardo's long pass is sent straight back. And Maltaranto picking the pocket of Sandhu. Sardo making the forward run. Goff for company. Pass won't make it to Grover in the end. Nicopolis, the youngster, plays it across the field. Lawson has some time. Her pass initially charged down, gets another go. Charging forward. Beats three Calder players in the end, but then that pressure allows the fourth, Natasha Dakic, to get in and intercept. Udiongo, bang! And she has given away the free kick.
Budiongo hails from Hoppers Crossing. She came through a community club, and she's just been one of those players in and around South Melbourne for so long. She's so quick. She's deceptively quick, and Calder, if they're caught on the ball with a short touch, she'll definitely catch them, and she's super tough as well, as seen in that challenge.
Is she a player that has A-League women's potential, do you think, Bubs?
Oh, certainly. All players on this pitch right here have A-League women potential, especially with new clubs coming in. Of course, you can't hide the fact that Calder are, with Western United. So it's important to note that these girls all have aspirations to play not only for the A-League women, but for their country too.
So much excitement around the women's game at the moment. Central Coast Mariners and Western United joining A-League women's next season as that ball looped forward. Grover doing battle for it, gets it to Maltaranto. Sardo, bit of time and space on the right, whips it in, headed away, important intervention.
On your toes! On your toes! Doors back! Zaza!
Ooh, bit of an awkward bounce there, but
Yep.
collected. Just walk me through the process, Bubs, before we throw to our sideline reporter, Marissa Lordonic. How do you judge those awkwardly bouncing shots?
Just do the best you can. It's one of those things, you have to wait, and it seems people, they're slow, the keeper's slow, but you actually have to wait and see where it's going before you can make an attempt, and certainly when it drops like that right in front of you, it's an awkward bounce, but it's about getting your head over the ball and making sure that you don't let it pop out to a defender, and if it does pop out, I had my own yesterday where it popped out, and you just got to get onto the second one just as quickly as you'd like to, that first one.
It will be a free kick for Calder United here, and as I mentioned, we do have Marissa Lordanic on the sideline down there at CB Smith Reserve. And Marissa, what are the conditions like down there? Swept in by Taranto. Oh, players arriving, and that is a fantastic save.
Great work by Liparides there in that instance. She's showing courage beyond her years. It's been fantastic to watch her step into this role for South Melbourne in such an important game. Budiongo working hard on Cern and trying to put pressure on this Calder attack as they try and thread passes into the box. Once again, South Melbourne come out with it, but they don't have anyone forward. Budiongo trying to do the work of three players, chasing people down.
And in the end, Calder can come again. Matthews trying to find Adriana Taranto. Fierce battle developing in there. And I think we had a few technical issues before, but I think she is ready now. Marissa Lordanic, you're down there on the sidelines. What are the conditions like? We've been talking about the wind up here. Throw in now to Calder on the right. Apologies if we're still having a few technical issues down there. My producer's telling me to keep talking, so that's what I'll do.
You can see Sam Young on the sideline there trying to remonstrate with his team, just saying that you have to win those midfield battles. There's no way that you can have Adriana Taranto and Mel Taranto on the ball with acres of space. And you know, Anna Leakopoulos is doing a great job, but there's only one of her and there's two Tarantos, so they really need to come together in that midfield. South Melbourne, Calder just having a majority of the play.
Now, one of those Tarantos on the ball, Mel Taranto. Now is this the moment where South can begin to wrest some control back? Lawson out to Goff on the left. She puts it on her right peg. Swung in, but Dakic heads it away. Always helpful with the Taranto twins. They try. One tries to wear black boots, one tries to wear white boots. Today it's Adriana wearing the white boots. Oh! Heavy collision there between Shield and Sinclair. Referee waves play on. Shield ran off with her hands in an apologetic, I didn't mean it position, but Sinclair has remained down, and Bob Sinclair isn't one to stay down for no reason.
No, exactly, and I think it was an accidental clash that made Sinclair go down, but all in all, Sinclair is a tough competitor and she won't be staying down for long, that's for sure. As you see her get up, she's just probably a bit winded. Just the timing of the tackle by Chill was excellent. Probably nothing untoward in it, but we'll have a drop ball here.
Doing the right thing and giving it straight back. Well, gone are the days when those drop balls would just turn into a battle of kicks between two sides.
We've come a long way, haven't we?
Alright, input one, hang on.
Stringfellow out there on the left, plays it forward. Goff working against Sardo. She'll whip the ball in, and that was an important intervention by Dakic because Budiongo was lurking. It's that battle between Sardo and Goff, two players that have spent time with Melbourne City's A-League women's setup. Sardo seemed to feel a bit more than Goff for City.
Head on!
Now both of them out there today in the Nike FC Cup final, and Sinclair shrugging off that earlier collision with Chill. She'll go back to Adriana Taranto. Top for Mel Taranto. Under a bit of pressure from Stringfellow. And then the ball will get picked out by Leakopoulos. Once again, sent straight back by Calder, but the flag on this occasion will do the South's defence work for them.
I think that's the different level of experience between the two teams. You see Calder, every time they get on the ball, they slow it down, they try and look for passes. South Melbourne tend to rush their passes, try and play it long over the top, most of their experienced players, bar Cheel in the back line, are all up forward. So that central midfield position needs to be a lot calmer on the ball when they have possession.
Sinclair giving chase and then leaps to avoid another collision. Matthews was trying to drive a low cross in, but she's done enough to win her side a corner kick.
Chronopoulos doing really well in the back line there. She's trying to keep Sinclair quiet, and she has done so far. For me, I think the longer South Melbourne can keep Calder quiet against this wind, they may be able to pluck something out in the second half, as we see Taranto and Cern come together for a short corner.
Always do love to have that option for the short corner. Does Calder, been one of their signatures throughout the season, and that is in fact where it goes. Cern playing in front of Taranto, and she opened up the angle and decided to have a shot in the end. Similar position to what was a bit of a banger, I remember scoring in the semi-finals of the Nike FC Cup in 2019 against Heidelberg.
Certainly don't want to give Taranto too much time.
Now Goff chasing down Matthews. Matthews will go inside to Dakic. Montana Matthews, the least experienced player in this Calder side, but she's acquitted herself well out there on the left-hand side of the defence. Sinclair doing battle with Woodiongo. Now the chase is on. Matthews working against Lawson. Lawson's trying to cut back to the top of the area for Goff, but it's again picked out by Dakic, as she has done on a number of occasions today. Just seizing the ball and driving forward, but on that occasion can't find Taranto.
Dakic is reading the ball really well for Calder in defence and just plucking out the South Melbourne forward passes quite well.
Subject to plucking out passes, Calder has done it again.
Man on!
Sandel just playing that forward, but nobody out there to collect that ball for South Melbourne, which will give us a bit of an opportunity now. I think we had to run a new microphone out there to Marissa, but I've been told that we should finally be able to get Marissa Lordanik on the line. Marissa, what's it like down there?
Thanks, Joey. It is very windy down here. You can probably tell by my hair that it is not looking as nice as it was before this game started. It's been a really interesting match so far. We've seen that of all the elements that we kind of saw pre-game, the wind has been the one that has stuck around. So far, it hasn't really favoured either side. We can see the corner flags and they both seem to be whipping in opposite directions. So neither side is benefiting from the wind at the moment, but we'll be interested to see what kind of role it plays as this match progresses.
There we go, the thoughts of Marissa Lordanik on the sideline there. We had to get her thoughts. We couldn't go through an entire 45 minutes, Bubs, without hearing from her, talking to the conditions down there, which they've certainly had an effect on this game, haven't they, Bubs, the conditions, undoubtedly.
Certainly, as you see a crow trying to fly very slowly through the wind. We need those important messages from Marissa because we're in a box, nice and warm, and certainly it's different conditions out there for the players. I will say that the rain has held off, which is an important factor in terms of the ability of goalkeepers to read the play. So in a wet conditions, you know, the ball sliding through can make it hard for goalkeepers to not only read it through the wind, but then have it skimming off the pitch as well. And that's why I think the game seems a little bit slower than I had the impression that it would be. I certainly think the rain holding off has helped slow the game down.
Sandhu, high looping ball in, big pack forms, will fall over the top of everybody. Nice little battle there forms, and in the end it will be neither of the two combatants that gets it. Instead it is Lawson. Working hard against Dakic. Trying to find an angle to bring it in. Papatsianis in support. Dakic continues to lurk. That's excellent defending there deep in their own half from Calder. And now the break potentially is on. Ava Grover working against Cheel. Cheel shows her the touchline. Grover tries to go inside, but in doing so, South are able to get the numbers back. Danger not cleared, however. Mel Taranto getting into the area. Her attempt to cross is blocked away well by Stringfellow. Corner kick, but that was important from Cheel, wasn't it, Bubs? The transition was on. Had her positioning not been perfect.
Yeah, the transition was on. Certainly Calder had the numbers, but the work ethic of the South Melbourne players was instrumental in stifling that Calder attack. Certainly Bella Stringfellow, once she got a hold of Mel Taranto, it was important that she kept her in the corner away from goal, because they certainly brought numbers in late.
No short corner for this one. Whipped in, the players are arriving, and it's going to go all the way through to Sinclair at the back. She will keep it in. And nice little bit of trickery there in the face of Cheel. Cheel recovers though. Will force it out for a throw in. Deep, deep, deep on Calder's attacking left flank. Pickett swarms, does excellently. Does Caitlin Pickett. The ball is just played forward. It's going to stay in bounds just. And Golf has the speed to force Pickett to, not Pickett, sorry, Dakic to put it out of bounds. And maybe the throw in a bit before South could get numbers forward, and Calder gratefully swallow it up.
Win it. Hold on. Good work.
I think in games like this where, you know, the nerves have certainly been expunged well and truly by now, you just need to get your foot on the ball, play. And sometimes it's great to play quickly, but then it's also, you know, there's times where you need to wait for your teammates to get closer to the ball, so you've got, you know, passages where you can actually string a couple of passes together. Calder 1 out, 1v1 with players at the moment, and they've got the number of South Melbourne each time.
South Melbourne get us going once again after Adriana Taranto copped a bit of a stud to the thighs, didn't quite appreciate it.
No, exactly. It's going to be some late challenges, you know, inexperience for a lot of them, and then some experience in other challenges where they do it on purpose, but that's football, isn't it?
Surely not. Surely not.
No, not on purpose. Never, no, never studs. No, never studs. It's just accidental because they're going for the ball.
Keisha Sandu now. On the right boot. Should bend away, but with this wind, you never know, and that is an excellent collection there from Melissa Dalos. She hasn't had a lot to do today, but that one was a good one.
Yeah, it just floated up right into her path, and she had to come collect amongst bodies, and that's really confident boosting, because when you're out of the play for a long time as a keeper, it's really important to get those good hands on things, and she certainly did well in that episode.
Sinclair trying to matriculate the ball through, and well, they got through the initial challenges, but then the attempt to play the ball forward to Adriana Taranto just not coming off. So South chance here with just over 5 minutes of regulation remaining. We'll have this throw in on their defensive right flank. Santu just nods it on. As far as Calder, and Matthews has time to tee up what she wants to do. In the end, one of our cameramen gets a touch as it goes out of bounds for a Calder throw-in. Again, Matthews with time and space. She'll just go back to Alicia Eki in the back line. Eki on the score sheet the last time we called a game together, Bubs, the 2019 NPLW Victoria Grand Final.
Yeah, it's been a long time, Joey.
Of course, that will remain the last Grand Final the NPLW Victoria will play until at least, I think, about August or September 2022, of course, as well. God, remarkable to think that Calder United will enter 2022 as the defending NPLW Victoria champions for a trophy they won in 2019.
Isn't it? Isn't that weird? It's just a weird time.
Life stopped making sense a while ago, I think,
I think
around March 2020.
Exactly.
Taranto whips the ball in. Ping-ponging around, eventually comes out to Matthews. Adriana Taranto gives Grover something to do on the left, and she answers back well, and then important header away from Chill. Danger not gone, Taranto. South throwing themselves at the ball to prevent the shot, and they'll do well.
The desperation by the South Melbourne defenders there. Some young players putting their bodies on the line. Leokopoulos, instrumental in blocking that onward goal that Calder surely would have finished.
Now they'll come again. Corey Kane working against Sandu.
It's just a sea of green, isn't it? Calder players all over the park screaming for the ball, but South Melbourne have the numbers back and they're willing to do whatever it takes to keep this scoreline level as long as possible.
Throw in now. Chance to get something going with just about 3 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Grover gets it from Sardo. Tries to give it back. And just the centre-back pairing from South Melbourne. Hronopoulos on that occasion. A last line of defence coming through once again. Adriana Taranto trying to find the byline. Now it's Cheel.
Showing every bit of the experience that she holds, Chill there. Shielding the ball out. You get the feeling that if South Melbourne would just play this ball short, they could keep possession that little bit longer, as long as they don't lose possession in the midfield.
Has been one of the themes of this first half, just South's inability to play through the Calder United midfield. And as we get set, heading into the final minutes here, the sun has come out down there, Marissa. I'll briefly pause as it's going to come out at the back post. Calder trying to knock around South clear away, but as the sun comes out, Marissa, do you feel as though Calder have a goal in them in this first half?
Sorry guys, we're continuing with the theme of technical difficulties down here, but it's been an absolutely fascinating first half here. Trying to keep an eye on the action as well. That looked like a goal for all intents and purposes here. Calder do seem to be having more of the attack as this first half has progressed. So really, I think they'll be kicking themselves that they haven't managed to find the back of the net just yet. But can't wait to see what the kind of halftime chat from both the coaches is and how this second half then plays out.
Ever so close there to the opening goal, just with that one. Were you on tenterhooks there, Bubs, not knowing how it would fall?
Well, I honestly think the wind kind of helped it on and make it look a little bit more dangerous than it did, but Liparides just had her eye on it the entire time and judged it well over the bar. She certainly didn't look worried. Not as much as I did. But
Hronopoulos will try to play South out. Matthews does well to lose Sandu, but then the pass not as good. The other side really just wants the ball yet. Now is this the moment for the breakthrough? Lawson steaming back. But stop me if you have heard this one before. Natasha Dakic with the important late intervention for Calder United. See the replay of that earlier chance, and you are right, Marissa. Liparides looked to have it covered. And that will be it. We will not play too many extras here at CB Smith Reserve. So in a half in which Calder probably had the best of it, but just unable to find the breakthrough against South and their young custodian, we will head to the dressing rooms with the scores tied at 0-0. Be sure to stay with us on the Football Victoria Facebook page, the Football Victoria YouTube page, or Optus Sports channels, as we'll have a full halftime show with myself, Joey Lynch, Melissa Barbieri, and Marissa Lordanik with you very shortly. Welcome back, and as promised, it is the halftime show here on Football Victoria's Facebook page, YouTube page, and across Optus Sport. Once again, my name is Joey Lynch, joined by Melissa Barbieri and Marissa Lordanik. And Marissa, you've had a chance to come upstairs, maybe get a little bit warm after being out there in not quite the frozen tundra, but the wind-swept CB Smith Reserve. What was your take on the first half?
That wind, it's doing things, folks, I'll tell you that much. But no, a really enjoyable game, quite end-to-end. I feel like Calder did have the kind of ascendancy in that half, so really impressed with how they went about their attack. I do think they'll be kicking themselves, though, that they did not manage to get on the score sheet, because they did seem to kind of have the better of the chances so far.
Well, I mean, Bubs, we were talking about it on the call. It just seemed like South Melbourne just couldn't hold the ball long enough to make this Calder defence answer any questions, really.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them that, their tenacity in defence and picking up the ball from Calder on each of their attacks didn't come to any real, juicy sort of forward forays for them. And I just think that's an experience. I think that's the difference between Calder and South Melbourne today, is that level of experience that players up further for South Melbourne are the more experienced players. Alex Cheel in the backline is probably the most experienced out of them all, and you can hear her trying to calm people down. You've got to play, you've got to try and play. So the distance between them on the field is extenuated by the fact that there's a lot of wind and you can't get the ball to the forward line. So it's been disappointing for South Melbourne that they couldn't string more passes together, but I'm sure with the wind in this second half, unless it we're in Melbourne, so it might actually change. You never know. So, you know, if that doesn't change in that second half, then maybe we'll see some more forays forward for South Melbourne.
Well, Marissa, you're down there on the sideline. You can hear the players. Is that difference in experience and leadership something you can hear and notice? Are the Calder players speaking to each other more? Can you tell?
I think they are. I think we spoke about it in the pre-game. Alex Sinclair really is being that vocal leader. She is making sure that everyone knows what to do, when to do it, making sure no one drops their heads if a chance hasn't kind of gone to plan. So I do think Bob's made a really good point in the sense that it's that Calder attack that does have a lot more experience compared to the South Melbourne defence. I did just want to quickly give a shout out to Natasha Dakic. I do think that any time South Melbourne did kind of make a foray forward, because they finally got that string of passes together, she was in the right position, she was cutting it out, she was really phenomenal. So I think South Melbourne will be disappointed that they didn't have the bulk of the chances, but the ones that they did were just completely cut out by Dakic. So I wanted to give her a bit of credit because she did real well.
She's got great timing and she's quite speedy up front and in the back line, which just counteracts all of the South Melbourne attributes and their strengths. And I know that, playing with these girls week in, week out, they want the ball in behind defence, and if a defence is dropping off and countering that, then it's really hard to find some passes if you're so stretched.
Yeah, well, we love a centre-back that's willing to go on an adventure when they get the balls from Bilbo Baggins areas. But the Nike FC Cup, you are allowed an interchange in the Nike FC Cup. It's not substitutions, it's an interchange. But we haven't seen either coach go to their bench yet. Marissa, Bubs, I'm not sure who wants to take this one, but who do you think blinks first and goes to the bench first?
I honestly think that the amount of running that South have to do in defence, like Calder kind of have this attacking, mentality, and they've been attacking a lot. That doesn't tend to, de-energise you. South Melbourne have, struggled. They've tried to pick up the ball. They seem to never have possession, and that mentally kind of weighs you down. So I think South will go to the bench first. You might see a change. Maybe Zoe Haratzis come on. Just some exuberance up front. I mean, you might see Lakopoulos go into the back line, swap it. Chill might push on. They've got a lot of options because a lot of these players aren't actually playing in their normal positions. So when you've got that, you've got a lot more ability to interchange and work yourselves out on the pitch as well as off the bench.
And dare I say it, because I don't want to jinx it, but this is a cup final. We must have a winner. If the scores are tied at the end of 90, we will be going to at least half an hour of free football. And then if they're still tied, it will be a penalty shootout. Marissa, do you think these sides will be desperate to avoid that?
I think, generally speaking, they don't enjoy the extra half an hour. And also, let's think about the fact that they haven't really come prepared thanks to COVID restrictions and whatnot. So you'd have to think also from a strength and conditioning point of view whether they can run out that extra half an hour. Penalties, then it's really anything goes. But I think, generally speaking, we'd all try to be avoiding the extra half an hour just for the players' legs, for us, for everyone, even though it is good fun when you're a neutral.
And, Bubs, two young goalkeepers out there today for both sides. I mean, they lost... She's a veteran in NPLW terms, but she's still young as well. Do you think every moment that passes where it's still 0-0, they're growing in confidence, or is the sense of the occasion such that they'll be nervous no matter what?
I think they'll be nervous no matter what because they know what's riding on it. But I think because the Paredes has had the majority of saves, her confidence is just building and building and building. It was great to see DeLost, though, come and attack that ball that came flying through the pack. That'll give her the sense of confidence. And And the thing with being a goalkeeper is that when you don't have a lot of the ball, it's really important to stay mentally focused. So that'll be important for a young goalkeeper to make sure she's got that under wraps. But in terms of Liparides, you know, it's one of those things where that inexperience is probably boding well for her because she's just going with instinct. And she's come up trumps in this first half with having a clean sheet, even though Calder have been peppering her goal quite extensively.
Well, mate, Marissa, putting your Mark Torcaso hat on, what are you doing at half-time to win this one?
I would be telling, especially the attacking players, to continue doing what they are doing. Like we said, Grober has been really sensational down the flank. Sinclair, we know she's a known quantity. We know that she's going to keep doing good things. I thought Montana Matthews, when she kind of pushed forward on occasion, was impressive as well. I would like to see the introduction of Raquel Doralis because I think she does add a little bit of something extra for this Calder attack that maybe they need. We know that she did play in the 2019 final as well, so the sense of occasion shouldn't overawe her or anything like that, but just for a little bit of something different up forward, I reckon she's the one to go to.
We might need to check that, but I think I saw Doralis in runners on the sideline, so she may have been a late exclusion, but we can check on that. I'm going by what I saw in the crowd, but you know, I don't want to throw a spanner in your works there, but maybe I'm gonna check on that. Only not to say that put you under the bus here, Marissa, but I was actually thinking of speaking about Doralis, and I didn't like what I saw. She may have had some tears in her eyes, so maybe it was a late exclusion.
Well, Bob's assuming the role of Sam Young for us. Same question for you. What does South need to do to win this one?
Keep the ball. Keep the ball.
I
mean, it always helps. I mean, Calder are not going to just let you have it. Let's be honest. They're not going to let you have it. But in terms of slowing down the play, setting people up, stop playing the ball long because nobody's up there. If somebody's up there, no problem. If you've got three players running forward and making runs and you're playing it to them into their path, yep, no problems. But if you can't get that sort of momentum, string passes together and then press, because the wind is now going our way or their way, and we need to put that pressure on them. And we've got speedy attackers that can press the ball nice and hard.
Well, very quickly, because I think we've got about 30 seconds left, but start with you, Marissa. Who's winning this one?
I do think, based on that first half, Calder will find that goal and end up winning and get that fourth straight title.
No, actually, the wind will win this one. And South will capitalise on a transition moment.
And then, so there we have it. Bubs tipping Mother Nature to win, which will help out South Melbourne. I think I would perhaps have to agree with Marissa. I think if Calder can absorb the wins, they are looking the good so far. But who knows? Be sure to stay tuned on the Football Victoria Facebook page and YouTube page and Optus Sport for what should be a big second half. And Bubs have made the arduous 2-metre trek from our half-time show to our commentary position here at the ground, and we are looking forward to bringing you what should be, as we said during the half-time show, a very entertaining second half. Calder eager and getting ready to get set, and as we see the two sides come out, Bubs, we haven't actually done this yet, but can we see any changes from either 11?
I can't see any from either team at the moment. They haven't. I don't see any changes by either teams, no.
Yeah, no movement from the fourth official either. So Budiongo gets us going once again. Sandu looking for Lawson, and the second half of the 2021 Nike FC Cup final is underway. And Budiongo getting an early touch, playing it back into Sandu. However, as we were talking about on the halftime show, Bubs, just South can't keep the ball.
Yeah, that they did look to play a bit more possession-wise football in that instance, but once again, Calder coming up trumps with whatever South throws at them.
Occasion Toronto's attempt to thread the ball through for Grover comes to no avail. Calder will have another chance to come again. Corey Kane, not sure who she was passing to in the end. Eventually it found Calder teammate in the form of Montana Matthews, who I have to say, she sounds like a Marvel superhero, doesn't she?
Doesn't
Bubs?
it?
Montana Matthews.
Yeah, it's certainly a name I'd pick for my movie character if I had to choose one out of the two teams here.
We'll see if the left back can put in a star-making performance in this second half, as Grover trying to find the touchline and find an angle for a teammate, but three South defenders swarm, and that creates the numerical advantage to Calder behind the play, and they'll try to come again. Goff getting up there and heading it out of bounds. So Sardo has the throw-in. Marcern makes the overlapping run, ignored. Adriana Taranto battling there against Stringfellow and Santu. And in the end, it will be Calder with the throw-in. Sardo just ambling over to get us started once again. Sinclair back to goal, and then back to Sardo. So you can see Goff getting back to defend this one as well, Bubs. South really desperate defending here.
Certainly, I think if they sense the fact that they keep the clean sheet, they can certainly score a goal in behind.
Taranto whipping it back in. Grover was lurking, so the intervention was important. But South, with that desperate defence, they've got nobody there for the transition. Allows Matthews to collect and reload for Calder. And Sophie Papatsanis is forced to put the ball out there on the left flank for a Calder throw-in. You can just see Budiongo is isolated in between four Calder players. Everyone else back defending for Hellas. And that ball will come off the head. Indeed, it did come off the head of Lawson, so it's going to be a corner kick now.
Yeah, I'd be interesting to hear whether or not the wind has died down, because you certainly get the feeling that South Melbourne aren't taking the ascendancy that I spoke of with Mother Nature behind them. But certainly Calder making it difficult for South to play with having the ball in their front third a majority of this first opening sequence.
Calder comes to the edge of the area, and then winding up from range was Mel Taranto. In the end, she puts her shot wide, but now another chance. The chance goes begging, and South try to play this one out. Long ball across the field.
It's a great switch of play there by Hronopoulos, and Stringfellow did not take the opportunity to go forward, but eventually Akeisha Sandhu comes out with it.
She gives it to Goff. Goff trying to get in, but in the end that left-footed cross is tame, and it's collected by Dalost. But Marissa down there on the sideline for us once again, and we've got Bubs asking the question up here, Marissa. What's the wind doing? Has it died down, or is it still an advantage for South now in this second stanza?
Thanks, Joey, it does seem to have died down, but I feel as though if I say that, it is going to blow me away. It's really interesting. It does seem to be kind of just swirling about. Doesn't really seem to be favouring either side particularly. But as we said in the halftime show, Bubs was right. I do think that Mother Nature is going to be playing a big role in this game as the third team.
Sinclair busting through there as Marissa throws it back. Sinclair! That's the opening goal. That is the breakthrough. 50th minute. Captain Courageous Alex Sinclair puts Calder ahead.
There's an amazing attack forward by Sinclair. Unfortunately for the young midfielder, Leokopoulos, she just takes too many touches and gets caught on the ball. Chronopoulos, I should say. And unfortunately spills to Calder. And so Cern is able to carry the ball into the front third and dish off to Sinclair. And Sinclair just getting a touch beyond Alex Cheel, and it ricochets into her path again. And fantastic by the captain to be composed and place it into the far corner as Liparidis tries to dive onto the ball as it comes into her box.
Alex Sinclair will have that opportunity for breakfast every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And what a coincidence, today is a Sunday and she has put Calder ahead 1-0 here in the Nike FC Cup final. The task now looms large over South Melbourne. It has been Calder on top, and now the game state changes significantly. South are going to perhaps have to come out of their shell a little bit and try to get something going in the opposite direction.
Anything can happen in finals football, and it's certainly going to be that confidence edge that Calder needed to keep on top of South Melbourne. But you never count South out, especially in a grand final. And it just takes a little bit of, I like to say experience kind of builds confidence. And for a young player to try and do their best, even after making mistakes, is really important in a game like this, because that's the only way you're going to win over, a competitor like Calder.
We'll see, will one goal beget another? Calder try to get the ball up through the midfield, not quite as clean as they'd like, but eventually gets to Sinclair, and then, speaking as not as clean as one would like, Sinclair turns the ball over. Sandur sandwiched there between multiple Calder players, goes down, and it will be play on. Now Grober giving something to chase there. Working against Chronopoulos. Keeps it in, does well there to Xavier Grober. Looking it towards the top of the area. Cleared away, Corey Kane trying to hustle and bustle way through. Corey Kane, like she was winding up, and in the end, she did go for the shot, but never enough power on that one, Bobs.
No, it's not going to, especially Liparidis having the game that she is having, it's not going to trouble her in goal. But once again, Calder getting on top of South Melbourne in terms of possession, bringing the ball down, playing with control, and really their confidence have grown just by that one goal.
Now we can see the confidence there. You need to have a bit of pep in your step to try one from that range. It was never really a threat as soon as it came off the boot, but it's that confidence you're talking about, Bubs.
It certainly is, and when you have players like that on the ball, it's always in their tool belt to hit from that range. But with this wind, it's hard. It's a hard task.
Now South trying to play through this Calder press. Look like they've done so. Budiongo turns, trying to beat Dakic. Dakic is going with her all the way, does well. Budiongo eventually gets it out to Lawson on the right, and then Lawson, this is good, going for the touchline and whips it in, but comfortable collection in the end for Delost. Hasn't had to do a lot, but when she's been called upon, safe as houses.
She's been important in there. I will just say that battle between Budiongo and Dakic really opened up that back line for South Melbourne, for Jana Lawson to beat her player. And then because Budiongo has dragged Dukic out, she may have been able to play a pass in behind their defence, but couldn't quite manage it because of the great goalkeeping of DeLost.
Well, Taranto turns and faces goal. As Grover in the middle uses her, but then strong challenge coming through from Leokopoulos. Lawson looks up, just puts the ball into space. Budiongo gives chase, but DeLost comes out to deny her. Now they can perhaps come again, can South. Budiongo from range and had the power, but the trajectory was straight at the Calder keeper. Now perhaps the game opening up a little bit as Adriana Taranto plays a long ball forward. Grover trying to get there. Papatsounis just trying to shepherd the ball to her goalkeeper. A few nervy moments, but don't get punished for it. Shield. Goff wanted it long about 3 seconds before the ball eventually came. Man on. Sinclair. To Eki. Sinclair battling with Santu. Two captains. Santu just forces Sinclair to go back to her centre back and then back to the keeper. Surely that's a handball, yes.
Just the spin of the ball off the turf. Leokopoulos unable to bring it down into her forward pass. She saw DeLost out of the goal and she thought, here's her opportunity. She just needs to bring it down, and unfortunately spun off her shoulder.
Grover, good touch. Now another effort from range, and it's going to find the back of the net! Can you believe it? Looking up from that far out, look at them get around her. Something from nothing, an absolute pearler of an effort, and Calder United lead 2-0.
Matthews just looking up and seeing Liparides off her line. And I must say that she was surprised herself. We saw her arms go up above her head, and I just love that. It's just beautiful to see somebody surprise themselves with how good they are, and I'm sure Calder fans will be absolutely excited to see such a goal in such an important match for Calder.
We were joking about Montana Matthews sounding like a superhero's name, Bugs. Well, that was a superhuman shot there from range from the youngster, one might say.
Yep, and you know, Liparides unable to do anything about that. I'm pretty sure nobody would have been able to keep that from going into the back of the net. That's where the Spideys live, mate. That's where the Spideys live.
Now, well, if the task was hard for South before, just a huge mountain to climb now. Down 2-0. With a keeper in DeLost in the Calder goal that is really seeming to grow in confidence with these collections. Safe hands, as it were. As you can hear, perhaps on the broadcast, some of the fans of Calder that have come down, chanting 4 in a row, and that is indeed what Calder are playing for. A record 4th straight Nike FC Cup. No side has won the State Knockout Cup for women more than Calder United. Admittedly, it's only been going since 2012, but they've won the last 3. Box Hill winning the first one back in 2012. That one's headed clear, followed by Sandringham. Bulleen in 2014. Wurundara 2015. Heidelberg in 2016, and then began the Calder era of dominance as one almost threaded through for Adriana Taranto. Collection there in the end. Then the that throw out. It's honest, quite a lot of work to do there against Grover. She was able to do. Now Matthews. She'll come under pressure and lose it to Pickett. She'll look for Budiongo, but then the pass in front of Lawson. A bit of a tired effort from Lawson. Pass was well in front of her and she couldn't get there. But the subsequent press does its job and South have a throw-in. Probably a bit fitting in the end, Bobs, isn't it, that the first ever state knockout cup for women's was won by Box Hill, wasn't it? Such a proud and historic and successful club here in women's football in Victoria.
Certainly have many a championship won. And trophy cabinets full from Box Hill.
Trophies that you helped contribute to over the years. You're too humble
Maybe
to say that, but I'll say it for you.
Maybe a couple.
Monopolis given no moment's peace there by Sinclair, and Sinclair has won the ball. In the end, Lipperides comfortable collection on the attempted cross.
Better throw by Lipperides here. Stringfellow wanting the ball this time. Looking to play. Such a quality youngster, Stringfellow.
Budiongo. Will the flag go up? Yes, the flag will go up there. Cat Goff just unable to run it down.
It's frustrating for Goff because she can see that she's open, but she's so fast at the time the ball gets played into somebody to play it over the top. She's already up and away. And unfortunately for South, called offside in the process. Calder in no hurry to play. This is what we call game management. 2-0 up.
2-0 up, just over an hour gone. Sardo given something to chase. Stringfellow getting across. Will win the ball. And then Sardo responding and inadvertently giving away a goal kick.
You can see South Melbourne trying to play that little bit more rather than going long. Trying to string some passes together. Cheel trying to marshal the troops.
Yeah, and that will bounce off the tummy of Cat Goff. South just forced to put the ball out. Sardo, ball in her hands on the right. Whips the ball into the middle. That will sail over the head of Sinclair. We appreciated the effort, given the thumbs up, but it will be a goal kick.
Always positive, Alex Sinclair. Looking for the ball in the front third at all times, even at 2-0, wanting that extra goal. I will say South Melbourne trying to play out as well as they can, but it just means an opportunity for Calder to capitalise on them being stretched. And oftentimes having time and space to play a ball.
You can see what Alana Cern wanted to do there. The second she saw it falling, stars in her eyes. Help it! Shot in the end was charged down. Avoids the challenge from Budiongo. Dakic loves a run. Tries to spear a pass through the heart of South Melbourne. Come off, but Cern was there to collect. Trento. Dinky ball over the top, but there's nobody in particular, and it's a comfortable collection there for Sasha Paredes.
It may be time for South Melbourne to start going long. After all I've said about keeping possession at 2-0, you want to get your teammates up and out and try and start receiving the ball further up the pitch. Calder now seemingly more confident on the ball with more time and space than they had in the first half.
Grover trying to knock it around the corner and sprint past Cheel. Cheel having none of it. She'll just put the ball out for a call to throw in. You can see now South being forced to defend in numbers here. Budiongo on a lonesome on the halfway line. big collision there between Sheila and Taranto.
Great contest by those two. Certainly giving each other no inch to play with.
In a situation like that, just before the ball went out, it was basically Budiongo on her own and Lawson and Goff getting back towards their own penalty area to defend. So even if South had a chance to get out, they've really got Budiongo against 3 or 4 Calder players in transition. Always a tough ask. Now maybe. Breakdown and play here perhaps. Stringfellow to Budiongo, Kat Goff. Now she's got the touch line to work in if she wants space. Instead she'll turn towards goal. And then turns on the Jets, left-footed cross in, and it's not going to find the header Pickett, but then arriving late. That's bounced up and down. Did it cross the goal line? No, it didn't. Well, according to the referee, it didn't. Bubs disagrees, but regardless. South retained possession. Akisha Santu. I think that was Papatsanis arriving there from a position at right back getting forward, but oh, no VAR, no goal line technology here in the Nike FC Cup final, Bubs, and mayhaps that could come back to haunt South there.
Yeah, Kat Goff just finding that little bit of space, burning Sardo for pace in behind. Caitlin Pickett trying to arrive at the top of the 6-yard box, unable to get a head onto it, but Papatsanis has come from right back all the way up into the front third to try and score this goal. Gets a great foot onto it, but unable to get it past the line.
Shield does well there to win it, and I mean, well, Bubs, just between you, me, and all of our viewers on the Football Victoria social media channels and Optus Sports, did it cross the line?
To be fair, I did think it did. It went down and then spun out, but it doesn't matter what I think.
That is the core of the matter, isn't it? I've never seen a referee change their opinion after a player gives them feedback. Or a commentator, for that matter.
Exactly. No, I did actually think it hit the underside of the crossbar. I would like to see the replay if possible. But, in those sorts of circumstances, what a great hit by Papatsanis, the young player. Absolutely rocketing that into the goal. Let's be honest, it's still on target. It's a shot on target, may not have gone in, but what a hit by the youngster.
Perhaps something for South to build upon. An important mental boost for them there, perhaps.
Yeah, I think if that goes in, we've got another level of this game to come, and it may have just given South that little bit of confidence boost in knowing that you can get the ball forward against this team. We can get shots on goal. We're just got to have the numbers around the ball to do so.
Throw in over the top of Lawson. Sinclair sliding in, and she'll give away the free kick, trying to chase it down.
You can just see how tired South Melbourne are. They're in no hurry to play the ball. They're waiting for Alex Chill to get up, but once again, nobody's showing that sort of increase in energy Leokopoulos had some real energy against Bulleen last week that drove the ball towards Julia Budiongo for that hat-trick. But just not seeing that today.
Well, Marissa, we're talking up here just about the body language of the players and the energy levels. Is that something that you've noticed since Calder have taken a 2-goal lead, that just they're up and about more than the South players?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's understandable as well. They went into that half level, and then obviously the 2 goals to Calder. It's enough to kind of dint anyone's confidence, speaking from a South Melbourne perspective, and then obviously buoy confidence from a Calder one. So unsurprising that they look up and about as they're attacking right now. But yeah, they'll be disappointed, South Melbourne, as Calder has a great shot there. But really unsurprising that they do look more up and about, and they're able to kind of, channel those goals, and they just look a heap better and like they could go on with it. So unfortunate for South. There's still a little bit of time for them to kind of turn things around, but Calder do seem to look the better of the two sides at the moment.
Thanks, Marissa. And I get the feeling that South might want me to stop throwing to Marissa, because last time I did it, Calder score a goal, and then on that occasion, Alana Cern coming desperately close to making it 3-0.
Yeah, it's one of those jinxes that certainly one side of the television audience
I imagine
is going to love, and the other half is going to hate. So
might get a few messages from some Calder people. Can we keep throwing to Marissa, perhaps? And now another ball forward. Grover, she's been busy, but she hasn't got the score sheet yet. Won't on this occasion either. It's Taranto. And a pass intended for Sinclair. Only found Papatsanis, but Calder can come again. Corey Kane. Taranto has to ride the challenge and look for Sardo. Sardo does well to flick it forward. Adriana Taranto pokes it in the direction of Grobert. She'll aware of the danger. Stringfellow. Bit of time and space on the left. Goff to her left, and that's where the pass is going. She'll, well, it was intended for Budiongo, but Natasha Dakic, who low-key probably putting in a serious contender for player of the game performance there at the back for Calder, once again with the intervention.
certainly, and it's hard to believe that there's still 20 minutes to go in this game, and you get the feeling from the South players that they're lacking that energy, that will to win.
Now Pickett, maybe looking for Papatsanis, looking for Sandu out there on the right. And Matthews, who scored that incredible goal to make it 2-0 to Calder United, cleaning up. Really a study in contrast for Calder's two goals, opening the scoring with their most experienced head in Alex Sinclair, and then doubling their advantage with one of their newer faces in the form of Matthews. Big collision there. Advantage will go to Sinclair and Calder United as big gust of winds hitting the ground. But looking at the corner flags, Bubs, at least in the South Melbourne half, it looks as though the wind might actually be at the backs of Calder.
That's what I mean. I didn't know that commentators' curse worked on Mother Nature, to be fair.
As we see Calder making their first move towards the interchange bends, and it will be Grover heading off for what is a well-deserved break after all the running that she has done, and she will be replaced by one of my favourite players to call for her name, if nothing else, Olivia De La Plaza. So she will get a chance to show what she can do in the 18 minutes and a bit of change of regulation remaining. So that should be 17 minutes and a bit of change of regulation, and then whatever stoppage time the fourth official determines we need. Should get more than the 30 seconds we had in the first half, given that we have had a couple of goals. Renopoulos. I think whether that was the wind or miss-hit, whatever it was, it went straight to a Calder, and now can Sinclair punish them? No, she can't, because Shield, again, the last line of defence for Hellas with the intervention.
Chill's been really important for South Melbourne because they're pushing numbers forward and trying to get out through playing, smaller passes. Sometimes Calder have picked up the ball and their back line is completely wide open, and Chill just mastering the art of shielding players and the ball.
Wasn't able to control it initially, which enabled Sinclair to make the challenge, but then she certainly made up for it. Now on the ball is Alex Cheel. Look at her directing traffic one way and then the other, and eventually it gets charged down. South live to fight another day though. Lawson shrugging off the challenge there, and initially thought maybe the advantage was on.
Yeah, Jana Lawson certainly asking the question of the referee there. I've got the ball at my feet and I'm about to take charge, but maybe this is the opportunity that South Melbourne needed to get some players in the Calder box to finish something off. Certainly they need to ask more questions of DeLost in these situations. DeLost looking far too comfortable in each of the saves that she's had to make today.
A line of players on the edge of the penalty area. Coppolis ambling forward to join them. Sandu. Well, was that a shot, Bubs, or did she just mishit it?
That's a shot. Look, I'm not going to lie, that's a terrible option by Sandu. Maybe she thought she could beat the keeper at that length and that distance, but unfortunately for South, it's probably not the best decision made today.
Well, as it stands with less than 15 minutes of regulation remaining, Calder on track to lift a 4th straight state knockout cup. The Nike FC Cup would be heading back to Keilor Park Recreation Reserve. Unless Hellas can produce multiple moments of magic in what little time remains. First they'll have to get the ball off Sardo. She'll whip it in, but under pressure from Goff, can only find Cheel. Getting back to apply the pressure on Stringfellow.
They do say 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline to play against, because you start easing off the pedal in defence. You feel like you're capitalising on a team. So if South were to get one back, it would just give them that confidence to push on a little bit more.
See South coach Sam Young turning to his interchange bench for the first time. It will be Julia Pudiongo making way for Zoe Haratzis. So after scoring a hat-trick, book her side's place in the final, Pudiongo unable to find that magic once again. She'll make way, and it looks like change up front. Sandu pushing up the field, Bubs?
Sandu's gone to right wing.
Goff, she delivered one cross which almost turned into a goal, this time on the right peg to the top of the penalty area. Lawson will collect eventually. And then the effort and wheeling rounds, and
I don't mind that. To be fair, Jenna Lawson, she's looking for the cross. She wasn't trying to shoot. She's looking for someone to make a run through the box, and she saw the heads in there. She thought maybe she could just pick out Sandu or Caitlin Pickett, but those girls stopped their run right in the middle of the box and just not troubling Delos at all.
Can't keep the ball. Toronto's come away with it, and the battle is now on. Della Plaza coming through. She'll get it to Sinclair. Can she kill the game? No, she cannot. Second chance, and again.
Great stop by Liparidis in there. She's just stood up nice and tall with Alex Sinclair one-on-one in the box. You must say, any other keeper, any other day that goes in for Sinclair. Liparidis having the game of her life here today. The through ball, the save, everything, but unfortunately for Hatzis, she knocks it straight back to Sinclair, who is unable to finish at the near post.
Alex Sinclair, well, Alex Sinclair is the type of attacker that even if she lifts the cup in a few minutes' time, she'll be having nightmares about that one tonight. South's defence, which has stood up so tall throughout today, gifting two golden opportunities to Calder to seal this result. Side in green, just unable to advantage. Will they be perhaps punished? Well, not on that occasion. Hughes plays it back to Dalos. perhaps rueing not having Harriet Withers out there, who I see has made her way to CB Smith Reserve to cheer on her teammates.
Pressure off the plane, no doubt, straight from their win against Brisbane Roar. She scored her opening goal for victory.
We should also congratulate you, Bubs, getting the second win of the season yesterday.
Yeah, it's always nice to come home with 3 points.
Adelaide United
Yes.
go back into the top 4, the finals places. So both Melbourne sides top 4 in A-League Women's, and as a Football Victoria broadcast, I must say we love to see it. Sado having to ride the challenge from Goff, gets it to Sinclair. His back is all too easy for Goff to swallow up.
Thought for a moment there that South Melbourne had gone to 3 at the back. Yara Monopolis is just seeming to get pushed particularly. Calder still pushing their numbers forward. He needs that track back.
Neither of these sides playing much, if any, in the way of competitive football since the PLW season was suspended. A sum total of 1 competitive game. Coach Sam Young telling us before kickoff that his side was able to get another warm-up fixture in against Preston, but other than that, not a lot of running in the legs, which isn't what you want when you're trying to chase down a 2-0 deficit with less than 10 minutes to go. And as we see, Calder United win themselves another corner kick.
Bit of experience showing here with Calder taking their time to having everyone back, bar Cat Goff at the top at halfway.
Corner kick, it's a high one, swung in, big pack forming. Sinclair thinking they got a head to it, but unable to direct it on goal, and it wouldn't have mattered either way, as their official has spied a free kick for South Melbourne. Zarnas. Renopoulos looking up, trying to find a teammate. And Marissa, with less than 10 minutes to go in this one, can you see any avenue for South to stage a miracle and get back into the contest?
South fans block your ears. I don't think there is really a way back for them with the scoreline as it currently is and with the state of play as it currently is. Calder do just seem to be continuing to attack. They look the more dangerous. They look the more likely. So I don't want to call South dead in this one totally, but I do think that time might have just gotten away from them here, and it's definitely Calder's cup at the moment.
Changes made by South Melbourne. Renopoulos coming off the field. Being replaced out there by Neil Keppins. As the Calder fans find their voice again. They are now just over 5 minutes away from lifting another trophy, the only trophy that will be awarded for senior women's football in Victoria this campaign. Big coming together there between Della Plaza and Shield.
Substitution, South Melbourne. Number 17, Chiara Chronopoulos, off, replaced by number 39, Emily Keppen.
Sandhu. That's a Lawson. And that's a good ball in, and that's just unable to make proper contact with the header. Was Leakopoulos coming up. God, it just feels like maybe it's just not going to happen today for South Bobs.
Yeah, Leakopoulos rising for the header in the middle of the box there. May have just taken Goff's eye off the ball in order to get a volley off. She tries to trap it with her thigh, only to have it trickle down to DeLost. Once again, South putting some passes together, making the foray forward, but unable to get rewarded. Calder seemingly stretched in that instance with a great ball in behind from Jana Lawson, but once again, because they're passing away from goal, they're not really troubling the Calder defence, but a brilliant ball in by Jana Lawson almost creates a chance for South Melbourne, but unable to capitalise when it counts.
Now we see Calder making a move to their bench.
Substitution, Calder United. Heading off is number 38, Olivia De La Plaza, being replaced by number 32, Tiana Diallo.
There it is, a swap of the only recently introduced Della Plaza for number 32, Tiana Stella. So the youngster Stella getting a run. May perhaps get a chance to be on the field when the result is sealed. Calder United. See you gesticulating here in the box, Bubs. You just want them to get it forward quicker.
Yeah, at 86 minutes, or in the 87th minute, you need just to throw bodies forward. You're 2 goals down. What they were doing in the first half is what they should be doing now in the last 5 minutes or so. Trying to get numbers in the box. Any time a keeper can get it in their hands, they can kick it long.
Well, that one has gone long, and Pickett's going to give chase, but before she can get there, DeLost again, the last line. House of DeLost holds firm. Now Stella, newly introduced. The pocket pick by Papatsanis. Sinclair arrives to clean it up. And again, Papatsanis with the intervention, but this one will go out for a corner kick.
Who's your pick for player of the match?
As a former centre-back myself, maybe I am allowing sentiment to guide me in the direction of Natasha Dakic. Often unsung centre-backs, especially in winning efforts such as this one that has been relatively comfortable, but I think she's been immense.
For me, I'm going Cern. She's been so formidable in that midfield role.
Now the ball comes in. They're both in there. Dakic just almost getting a touch on it, but as Bob says, Liparides denying initially, but the danger's not cleared yet as a shadow descends across CB Smith Reserve. The effort from range there from Alana Cern. She certainly would have been player of the game, Bubs, at that one gone underneath the crossbar instead of over it.
Yeah, for me, I think she's been everywhere. She's been instrumental in holding firm in that midfield, playing balls through, making other players look great, to be fair. Sinclair getting on the score sheet, and, you know, Montana Murphy getting on, Matthews getting on the score sheet, but at the end of the day, that midfield role is what's kept the pressure on South this entire match.
It really is the midfield where games are won and lost, and it is that Calder midfield has won them the day, or so it appears at this stage. Cern Corey Kane and the Taranto twins putting in the work for Calder. Now, could this perhaps be the moment? Sinclair facing Haratzis. Haratzis trying to marshal her, she won't. Sinclair! There it is. Alex Sinclair has her brace. Calder United have a 4th Nike FC Cup, and they get around their inspirational leader, does Calder United.
Sinclair absolutely tearing up the South Melbourne defence there, capitalising on her experience, drawing that centre back out to her and then burning past her with a touch of speed. And that experience just shows when she guides it past Zoe Haratzis in the back line there and then slots it as Liparidis comes out at her feet. Cool, calm and collected at the far post, turning it in. Unlucky by Liparidis, who did put immense pressure on Sinclair there, but every little ounce of experience shown by Sinclair and turning it into a net. She'll absolutely love that she's been able to capitalise on that moment for her team.
And we'll only get 1 minute of added time here, as Coach Mark Torcaso has also gone to the interchange bench for what might amount to all of a 30-second cameo. Giving a couple of youngsters the chance to be on the field. It's 3-0. At this point, all eyes on the referee to put an end to proceedings. Bakic on the ball. She's been good. So is the now departed Alana Cern. Sinclair always a shout for these sort of Player of the Game awards with a brace. And that is it. Full time here at CB Smith Reserve. The dynasty continues. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 state knockout cups heading to Keilor Park Recreation Reserve. Calder United are your Nike FC Cup champions for 2021. A 3-0 win over South Melbourne. They were the better side on the day, Bubs, and just an all-around performance from Mark Torcaso's side.
Incredible scenes here at CB Smith Reserve. It's lovely to see the girls out and about playing, but seeing the immense pride in getting that trophy for Calder is great to see. Unfortunately for South Melbourne, they lose on the day, but certainly put their hat in the ring for a great game. It was end-to-end in that first half. In the second half, Calder just capitalised on some tired legs in the South Melbourne camp. And just a couple of mistakes in the South Melbourne area means that Calder come up with the win. But certainly South can be proud of their efforts today. But what a team Calder is. Every experience shown out on the day. Cool, calm and collected in everything they did. Patrolling that midfield, and great to see their captain get a brace.
Indeed, a performance that Calder can be proud of, a year that South Melbourne can be proud of. Really, a year been full of so many twists and turns, and challenges. A year that every player, for every club, every coach, every parent, every volunteer, anybody that gives up their time, their sweat, just their effort to make women's football what it is in Victoria. It's a year to be proud of. It will be a year that ends with Calder United lifting the Nike FC Cup. We will have the full medal and trophy presentation for you at the end of this game. As you see Alex Sinclair grabbing the bullhorn. She loves it, handing it off to a teammate. Stick around for the presentation. But I've been Joey Lynch. It's been my absolute pleasure to be joined by Melissa Barbieri. I was going to go through your resume again, but it's too long at this point. We've also been joined by Marissa Lordanic on the sideline and for the pre-game and halftime show. Great to get her thoughts and analysis on the game. My name has been Joey Lynch once again. Thank you for joining us on the Football Victoria Facebook page, Football Victoria YouTube page, the Optus Sport channels to watch on as Calder United lift the Nike FC Cup for the 4th time with a 3-0 win over South Melbourne. Stick around so you can actually see that trophy lift. Sinclair busting through there as Marissa throws it back. Sinclair! That's the opening goal. That is the breakthrough. 50th minute. Captain Courageous Alex Sinclair puts Calder ahead.
There's an amazing attack forward by Sinclair. Unfortunately for the young midfielder, Leokopoulos, she just takes too many touches and gets caught on the ball. Chronopoulos.
Good touch. Now another effort from range, and it's got to find the back of the net. Can you believe it? Good touch. Now another effort from range, and it's got to find the back of the net. Can you believe it? Could this perhaps be the moment? Sinclair facing Haratzis. Haratzis trying to marshal her, she won't. Sinclair! There it is. Alex Sinclair has her brace. Calder United. Sinclair busting through there as Marissa throws it back. Sinclair! That's the opening goal. That is the breakthrough. 50th minute. Captain Courageous Alex Sinclair puts Calder ahead.
There's an amazing attack forward by Sinclair. Unfortunately for the young midfielder, Leokopoulos, she just takes too many touches and gets caught on the ball. Chronopoulos.
Good touch. Now another effort from range, and it's got to find the back of the net. Can you believe it? Good touch. Now another effort from range, and it's got to find the back of the net. Can you believe it? Could this perhaps be the moment? Sinclair facing Haratzis. Haratzis trying to marshal her, she won't. Sinclair! There it is. Alex Sinclair has her brace. Calder United.
extend some gratitude and thanks to our partner Nike, who proudly support female football in our state, including, of course, being the official naming rights partner of the competition, our premier World State Knockout Cup. Give a round of applause for Nike! Now we do have a few special people here today. We'd like to thank Football Victoria's Executive Manager, Growth and Inclusion, Karen Pierce. This is Karen over here in the blue jacket. And we've got Nike Brand Director, Superstar Nick Atkinson. Wait for everyone. Thank you so much. They'll be handing out all our awards today. Firstly, we'd love to do a very big thank you to our match officials. Calder, this game, they did an exceptional job. So first up, we'd really love to thank, and once you hear your name, please come up and collect your medal. Referee, Shab Roshan. Assistant, Laura Simpson. Assistant, Nicoletta Sitiopoulos. And fourth official, Jessica Adams. Thank you so much to the four of you for doing an exceptional job today. Can we give them a cheer, please, guys? We would now love to present the Teresa Dees Medal to signify the player of the match as voted by the match officials. Can I get some of those drum rolls going, please? The player of the match is, congratulations from Calder number 18, the captain, Alex Sinclair. Alex, do you want to come and make a quick speech? Your Teresa Dees medal winner. Congratulations, Alex.
Firstly, thank you all for coming out here today and supporting us. We haven't had much football, so this means so much to us. To South, you know, there's only one winner in these matches like this, but to come out here after the year we've had, you're all winners in our eyes, so well done.
What a gorgeous meeting for Max.
Also, am I going to speak later?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
Oh, she's a ball of fun. Congratulations once more to Alex. Next up, we would love to present the runners-up medals to, of course, our runners-up team today. Let's give it up for South Melbourne FC. Congratulations, team. We'd love to invite you up to collect your medals now. And, of course, we'd like to invite your coach to come and speak. Please come forward. You're welcome to come up just one by one, team. Thank you. Let's say a big congratulations and a welcome to Sam. He's done a fantastic job coaching this team today. We'd love to hear from you.
That's all right. You got a question? No? Oh, look, obviously, congratulations to Calder. You know, as Alex said, you know, it was just great to, I guess, to have a game after all the lockdowns and, you know, disappointments of cancelling, and it's great to put this event on, and it's brilliant that so many people are here to watch, so the support's been fantastic, so I just want to thank everyone from both teams for that. And yeah, look, it wasn't our day today. We had a lot of chances, and, you know, you don't put them away, you don't win, so we'll be back next year. We'll be back. You know, we're hungry to win trophies, and I'm confident that, you know, we'll be here again. So, yeah, congratulations to Calder once again.
And Sam, how important do you think it is having a cup like this for your team?
Yeah, look, it's amazing, you know, to have Nike FC invest in the game. It's, you know, that it's a showcase, and we're all up for it. And yeah, it's fantastic to have their support, and long may that continue, yeah.
And how do you think it works with having a crowd like this? Is it really helpful to the team?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I said, just want to thank everyone for coming down, and hopefully it'll be 3 times the size next year. So, just want to thank everyone again.
Let's give it up one more time for our runners-up today, South Melbourne. Congratulations once again to the whole team behind us. Are we ready for the next bit? All right. Let's present our champions of the 2021 Nike FC Cup Championships. It is Calder United SC. Congratulations. I will be calling out the players one by one, and then I do invite the coach of our winning team to come up and have a few words. And of course, you're very welcome again, Alex, to come and chat a bit more. First on my list today, number 18, your captain, Alex Sinclair. Number 15, Adriana Taranto. Number 16, Melissa Taranto. Number 14, Natasha Dakic. Number 24, Julia Sardo. Number 22, Alana Cerne. Number 7, Ava Grabber. Number 1, Alyssa Dalost. Number 21, Lara El Hayak. Number 2, Corey Kane. Number 10, Raquel Deralis. Number 12, Alicia Eki. Number 27, Ellie Talevsky. Number 32, Tiana Stella. Number 30, we've got Montana Matthews with one of our 3 goals today. And number 26, Natalie Grimmer. Lucky last on our list today, number 38, Olivia De La Plaza. And of course, Coach Mark Takaso. Mark Takaso. This is Mark Takaso, and he's got a few words he'd like to say.
First of all, I would like to thank obviously our sponsors that have been here since day dot, Michael and all our other sponsors. Obviously West United and Chris, thanks for your support. Sam, unlucky mate, I know it's tough, but I'm sure you'll bounce back, and I'm sure the girls will be back ready to go. Other than that, I'm sure the girls are going to have a great night tonight, so let's party, let's have a good night.
Fantastic, let's give it up for Mark. And a few more words, of course, from our wonderful Alex.
So thanks again, Sal, for coming out here today and giving us a good run. Appreciate everything. I'd just like to thank, the sponsors and Western, our partners, for coming out here today. You've definitely brought the noise. And you turned it up when we needed it most, so thank you so much. To the sponsors and our club, we couldn't do this without you. You make this happen for us. To our families and friends, what a year we've had with our football. So thank you for all the support and keeping us grounded and coming out here today and just being there for us when we need you most. And to our coaches and our staff, you've put in so much time and effort for us, and you make us the players we are. So we couldn't do this without you. So thank you. And to this incredible group over here, these girls have, they've lost, they've sacrificed, they've given up so much through the year, and to be out here today and to win this trophy means so much to us. So, girls, I'm so proud of you, not just as your leader, but as your friend too, and I love you very much. And girls, we did it 4 in a row.
Congratulations once again to this incredible club. Of course, she got a couple of goals. She's your captain, Alex Sinclair. Thank you so much for your beautiful words. And congratulations to your team as well. Who's ready for this trophy to be handed over? Let's make some noise. Once again, thank you so much for joining us for the 2021 Nike FC Cup Grand Final. A final congratulations to both our incredible teams and a massive well done to the girls, 4 in a row. Thank you so much for joining out at us today on what turned out to be actually quite a nice day. We hope you get home safely and thank you for being a fantastic crowd today as well. We'll see you next time.